All right, going back through our last performance against Iowa. Getting disappointed there. We had a lull where, pick six, and then two one-play big plays, 21 points, where the game gets a little out of whack. Started slow. I think we go three and out with a pick, and then another three and out before we got into some offensive rhythm. Passing game struggled, and not just because Nate got hurt. I think Nate was 4 and 9. And it's been struggling, so we got to keep working on that. Running game's okay. Need to be a little bit more consistent. Defense settled down, held them 17 in the second half, 126 yards of offense in the second half, 300 in the first half. Kicking was okay, didn't hurt us, but didn't impact us. Had a chance to down the ball inside the 20 a couple times, but nothing significant in the kicking game. Effort's okay, still needs to be better. Standard of play needs to be better. We're capable of playing good football, and we showed some good things, but and not an inconsistent game. Just gave up some plays and had a chance to make some. We had potentially 3 big drop passes that would have been nice. We had a pick in the end zone in the game. So again, there's some opportunities we squandered some things away. Performances that we thought were good on the offensive side. Thought Tevin Coleman, D'Angelo Roberts, and Michael Cooper had good showings. Defensively, we thought guys that played well. Those aren't players of the game, just guys we thought played well. T.J. Simmons, Nick Mangieri, Mark Murphy. Several good efforts in the kicking game with Scales and Simmons and Kennedy. Stoner, a couple good plays, and kick cover, a couple tackles. So thought those guys played well. Our players of the game on offense were Tevin Coleman. On defense were T.J. Simmons. Special teams, we had some good performances, but didn't recognize the player of the game. No one outstanding. A lot of guys played well. Kicking has gotten better, and not just the kickers, but the coverage. We need some more returns. I think the 2 kickoff returns we had started on the 14 and 15, or 13 and 15. The others they kicked out of the end zone. So I'd like to get a little bit more out of the return game if we could. Our scouts of the week, Arthur Jones, as a defensive back, second-year player, walk-on, good kid for us, did a nice job. And for the offensive side, recognize 2 guys, senior Mike Raplogel, who plays special teams, does a great job, and Danny Cameron, quarterback, did a good job for us. So coming out of that game injury-wise, of course, Nate has a shoulder injury. Visiting yesterday with the doctors, it is going to require surgery. He'll be out for the remainder of the year. So I'll give you 20 seconds to tweet. So, okay, it's out. So he'll be out. Didn't know that until Sunday. So moving forward, with whether it be with he being out now with Chris Covington, Xander Diamont, Nate Boudreaux, we won't have like necessarily an open competition, but those will be the guys we play with, and we'll move forward there. No one else really out of that game with the couple guys. We've lost a couple guys. Everyone does. That's a little bit of college ball. You got to overcome that, and believe we will. And so, again, that's where we are health-wise. The rest of the guys, I think we're in pretty good shape. Good opportunity this week, playing a tremendous football team in Michigan State. Very, very solid, very aggressive, known for outstanding defense and playing well, again, as they always do, with just guys in great position, great structure, challenge secondary with DBs that make plays on the ball, and a great blitz package, and well coached with Coach Narduzzi and with Coach D'Antonio and the culture that they've created. Offensively, their offenses came on strong, where some guys they've played with now for several years have evolved to a team a couple years ago when they were young. They were a little bit out of sync. They've matured, and now they're one of the leading offenses. I think they're 4th in the nation in scoring I believe that's correct. Very balanced in what they do. Really good running back, and Jeremy Langford. Good misdirection with fly sweeps that they always do a great job with. Connor Cook, I think one of the better, if not the best, one of the better quarterbacks in our conference in the country. Throwing the ball to some good guys, a quality offensive line. And then Coach D'Antonio's teams always pick it up with great kicking, whether it be their punter, their kick game. They always have fakes up, their return unit. So that's why they're a top 10 team. That's why they're defending Big Ten champs and Rose Bowl champs. So they're awfully good, play awfully well. At the same time, I know our team is looking forward to the opportunity of playing a great team, playing at home for homecoming. And again, we've gotten significantly better, and I expect our team to have a great week and have a strong showing against an outstanding opponent. It's going to be a good test. Yeah, I think it's, I don't know if, when you say grades, I think there's just, it was kind of slipping on him afterwards. And then, so again, I mean, those medical guys can tell you, so I don't want to sit here and speculate, but there, sometimes if a shoulder separates and pops back, how much ligament damage is there or damage to rotator? And again, it's his left one, so it's not his throwing side. So that being said, he should be able to make a pretty strong recovery. Because he plays a position that typically doesn't do a lot of hitting, and it's his non-throwing arm, so it should be a normal recovery. But I think the joint, when he landed, he wasn't a very, like he even said we were talking about yesterday, I mean, he's taken a lot of hits, a lot worse than that one, but just the way he fell with the guys falling on him and just driving to the ground as it dislocated, it basically just tore enough damage where some things are going to have to be tightened up to keep that thing more secure and in joint.
Will the offense have to change a little bit more of an option attack now than maybe it was before?
I don't know. We kind of, we're not, we kind of do what we do a little bit. We emphasize, you play the strengths and weaknesses of what guys do. So we're not going to sit here and just, run it every play. I mean, we're one of the better running teams in the country, and we throw more balls than the people ahead of us. I mean, I think Army's thrown 34 passes, and we're throwing about 30 a game. And so part of us running balls, you got to defend all the guys and defend the field and take shots down the field. And shoot, Chris put two of them on target, should have been called for big plays. He's got a great arm. One of his picks is a batted ball where a receiver should catch it and doesn't. So, I mean, we'll kind of do what we do and just do the thing. Again, you're going to see a tremendous defensive opponent, so you just got to put those guys in good places and don't get cute and don't get fancy. And, we're not going to hand the ball off every play. That doesn't work. We're not going to be a true option team. Maybe the quarterback runs a little bit more. But, it'll go from we'll play to our strengths. No, he's pretty good, and so's DMI. All three of those guys. I mean, Chris's problem, is coming out of preseason. He wasn't cleared full go until the Bowling Green week, so he was limited in practice because he was coming off a knee injury. And Diamont and Boudreaux got the bulk of the work, and as you watch him, you still think again he gives you the best chance to play and to win with, and that's why we kind of went with him. But we'll see. Again, he's a young guy, and he's going to make some young guy mistakes, but he's a calm dude. He's very talented. And, it's going to be difficult this week because you're playing a good team, but we got to put him in good situations and play to our strength. We got a pretty decent offensive line, and we'll do some things we can to protect. Again, they're really good defensively. Now they come at you, they cause turnovers, they cause sacks. So again, it's going to be a tough challenge. No matter if you had, Peyton Manning sitting back there, it's a good defense you're playing this week. But we got to do everything we can to put them in a good position, and we'll clean it up this week and see what we got.
The other day that Diamont wasn't ready, is that just because he needs to add some size, or it's just not really grasping?
Yeah, I mean, he's slight. He's 160-some pounds half the time, and first word in Big Ten's big. So, and again, as a young guy, it's just, Covington is 220, and so, and I mean, he was a great quarterback in high school, and we recruited him as an athlete and thought we'd need him on defense, but with our depth situations and then watching play, we thought he'd be a viable option. And as he got in, got comfortable, we think he's the next best one. But Xander's a good player, throws it well, runs well. He's just a smaller guy, and he's a freshman. So you got two freshmen. So you just got to be careful of what you ask those guys. When you have freshmen, you're going to have some mistakes. They're going to be challenged, but the defense is going to do everything they can to harass him and make his world uncomfortable. And in your quote, first place. So whether we see just Chris, both guys, where's Nate Boudreaux fit into the mix? The other two guys are a little bit more athletic and can run around a little bit more. Where Nate's Boudreaux is a version of Nate Sudfeld, taller guy, good arm, good mobility, but not as much of a runner. And again, we're not going to be an option tack. We just run the zone plays, and and once in a while you can read it and pull it out. And so the offense doesn't change anything. The play calls don't change. Just some of the slight schematics do because the quarterback now is a little bit more of a runner than a thrower. But we'll keep throwing it. We're not going to throw 5 passes.
Does it help that you had Trey running a lot of the same kind of stuff last year, that maybe the linemen
the same plays.
Yeah.
I mean, they're called the same. It's just, do you cut the end off backside or you put him out and read him? So you either block the guy with by formation, and the 5 linemen are blocking the same. They're double teaming to the same guy, pulling for the same guy, comboing to the same guy, man blocking. It's the same. It's called the same. Just formation-wise, the quarterback becomes the blocker because he reads the guy. So it doesn't change anything.
Yeah, Michigan Purdue had a lot of success against Michigan State with the run, going wide, receivers blocking, which I know you guys do, but when you see that, without revealing any details, how do you, is that a key to maybe beating them as opposed to trying to go through the box and trying to blast through?
Well, like all teams, Iowa's the same deal. I mean, in a different way and different, slightly different, but not major. I mean, the way to play better defense is to outnumber and put players in position where, they can't be blocked. And so, for example, we are, halfway through, and I think we've played by Big Ten standards, I think, if not one of the toughest schedules to date in our 6 games. And I think our run defense is now 51st in the country. Year goes 115. Well, our pass D still struggles, but it's because we got corners and safety supporting the run. You're out there one-on-one. A year ago we were bad in run D and pass. We've gotten a little bit better in run D. Michigan State's good in run D because of not just players, but because of structure and where they commit them. And that being said, they're also good out there one-on-one. You got to make some one-on-one plays. And if you want to go sideways on these guys, you can. But man, they're flat-footed and fast coming downhill. So there ain't been a lot of. Oregon's pretty fast and pretty good, and they just don't. Marcus Mariota made some individual great plays, it looked like, in that game. And so again, the structure of what they do and with the players they do it with and the culture, they make it hard to do a lot of things. Straight ahead, sideways, you name it. And it's a combination of culture, schematics, and players. I mean, they have a tremendous defensive environment. At the same time, the game has gotten. You're looking at TCU last week, who was number 2 defense in the country, gives up 700 some yards, and on 4th down at midfield goes for it because they don't want to give the team the other ball. The game's changed where there's not a lot of 7-3 ball games. You don't play shut-out football a lot. This is a really good Michigan State defense, and I'm sure they're mad. They're giving up 22 points a game. That's a lot more than their standard, but that's a little bit of the game. We've got to find ways to score the ball and say, hey, Tevin Coleman's a good running back, and we're just going to give it to Tevin and go and just run inside or outside. You got to have balance. You got to make the defend us all and defend it deep. And like I say, we had potentially 3 huge plays the other day that are there that we don't make in the perimeter receiver that are there. And with the next quarterback, I mean, you've got to, you got to keep your offense going. You got to stay in attack mode. And that's what we'll keep doing. But we'll emphasize different things because of the talent level of the quarterback and his youth, but you got to stay in attack mode.
Kevin, can you talk about Tevin Coleman a little bit and what he's been able to accomplish to this point?
Well, one, he's a good player for sure, but some of it too is needs to be a credit to the other guys. I mean, he ain't doing it by himself. One of the best plays I've ever saw in my life was his long 45-yard touchdown the other day where he ran towards their bench, and Nick Stoner had a guy playing him man-to-man and took off running as fast as he would run as he's running for the track team, and took a guy 50 yards with him, and we had players going to celebrate with Nick Stoner because it was a phenomenal effort. Where here he comes out in the clean, he's coming, he sees the guy. If you get a chance to see that play on TV, you ought to look at. We just showed it to our team, this is a phenomenal play. So, if I'm Tevin, I'm grateful and thankful for that. I'm thankful that we're going to continue to throw the ball and I'm grateful I got my second team tailback and third team tailback playing for me because I can play hard. I mean, it's a group effort. When you're running the ball decently like we are, it's a little bit of an attitude, mindset, and it's a group. And to me, it shows physical maturity. It shows physical development. It shows development of your team. If you can play 6 games and you're running the ball for 300 yards a game, because that ain't easy. And we're not doing it with the wishbone, running it every play. And so that being said, Tevin's a huge part of it. He is a special, special player. And as a freshman, he worked like that guy Peterson did at Oklahoma when he was a young guy. He had a phenomenal work ethic and a really high talent. But his work ethic and the type of kid he is might be better than the talent. And the talent's pretty good because y'all see that. But we see it on Tuesday. He practiced. You come to practice. He practices that way. Matter of fact, sometimes in practice, I toot the whistle quick because once he breaks it out, I don't want to, because he gets rolling now and he gets going because he is a tremendous player, tremendous kid. He's one of the best players. He's good. And if he's really good, his team will keep playing for him. We'll keep getting the ball back, and our defense will keep making stops. And he'll keep making plays that we can win games. And with that, our passing game, when we do get open on those shots, and we have the ability to catch the ball and throw the ball, we'll make some of those big one-on-one plays. Because with what's going on there, he's got a chance to have a huge impact for our football team. Because he's setting a standard of play, and Buck knows because he's seen it. He's setting a standard of play of how you prepare, how you practice, and how you play. That's what it looks like. And as a coach, that's a lot more than any film session I can ever have. And so I respect him, appreciate him, and we just look for it. I think we're just, and again, not that he's going to have any big stat day. We're going to play as good. We're going to play a couple defenses. I mean, some of the best. I mean, shoot, this defense, I think Penn State's like, what, second, third in the country in rush D. We're going to play some really good. Michigan's playing outstanding run D. You look at the Big Ten defense, there's some really good run defenses. We're going to be limited because of quarterback. But it's going to take a team effort for him to keep doing what he's doing. And I think Tevin would tell you he's got some good teammates. So we love him. He's pretty good. I think he would tell you he appreciates what his team does for him. So we got to keep building that thing there, though, Don.
As he was, why just 15 carries?
Again, you only have 60 plays, and so by the time you do your throws, and then, he made the comment he's good to go. Now, when he comes out, it's because he needs a blow. And when he taps his arm, it's like the old basketball guy putting his fist up. And so with his deal, when he's good, there's not one play in our offense we don't do because Tevin's in the game, don't call this. Whether it be run, pass, protection, route, he's our best player. And he has the green light to go. But again, with his deal, he goes hard enough, he gets gas, and he needs some blows. And he trains right, lives his life right. There's no issues with him except he sells out. He leaves it out there every day. Anything else?
What's the kind of a temperament does Chris Covington have? Ralston was really complimentary. He said he really seemed to have command in the huddle and
We don't huddle.
Command of the team and
That's a cliche. See, you guys have media cliches too now. Media speak. Huh? Instead of coach speak, we have media speak now. Huh? Right?
demeanor does Chris have?
He's a neat parents, well-raised kid, kind of in a tough environment, great, strong mom and dad, good worker. Good vibe. He's young, and he's he's got a lot of the right values. That's why when we looked at physically, we thought he could, but we thought he had the makeup of a quarterback, the makeup of a winner. And I think the same thing with Xander Diamont. He's a young guy. He's got some self-esteem and self-confidence, and they're different in their deal, but they're both for young guys. They've got the moxie and things you want. Now, when you're young, it's a little unusual, so he's not going to, have the big team talk. But I think Chris has the makeup of not just physically, but some things. He throws the ball a lot better than most people think. He has the strongest arm on the team. It's not close. And he can deliver the ball, and we got to put him in the right positions and teach him how to continue to communicate and see and play the game. But he's got a makeup that's, to me, is pretty impressive there. He'll be okay, David.
Saturday, you want to have Xander burn a season for just a couple of
Well, I didn't know if Nate had a shoulder separation. It might be a week and could be back because we had an open date coming up. Well, now that's, if like 2 years ago, we had a kid break a leg and you knew it was done. So in that game, the freshman Nate Sudfeld played because okay, we're going to probably need you this year. I didn't know till yesterday for sure that Nate was out. If we'd have known that Saturday, there's a chance. At the same time, too, we're in a 2-score game and down the scoring zone trying to score in a 16-point game, trying to make it 8 with a minute and a half to go. So the game's still kind of in flux. So we thought that was the best guy. But when we talked about it earlier in the game, the deal was we were going to ride Chris until we know. And now we know, hey, we're probably going to need to play both. So if we need Xander or if we just want to get him wet or if we're struggling, we might see, there's a chance you might see both of them because I think as you go through the year, you're going to need them. So we'll see. We did it a couple years ago. But that time wasn't like he wasn't ready or prepared as much as he's kind of been the third. Although he throws it pretty good, he's kind of the third. We just didn't know the significance of the injury when I said that.
play him now.
Correct. We potentially, although the game got close enough, the way the defense settled down, we potentially would have said Saturday he would have played if we'd have known Nate was completely, at the time it was a separated shoulder. But once you do the MRI and it says, okay, it's shoulder and it's going to take, 4 or 5 months here where he's out, okay, different. If you know that Saturday, you might have gotten him in Saturday, maybe not. But that comment was made thinking like, hey, is it just a separated shoulder, and is it grade 1, grade 2, and because it's non-throwing, you might get him back here in 2 weeks, 3 weeks. It's surgical, he's out, and we'll have Xander in the mix, and of course Boudreaux's been red-shirted, so he can be, they're all available, and we'll use them all accordingly.
Chris's arm strength, how much of it is just for, especially for a true freshman, just get that touch? Because like the Jason
bit.
Harris, he fired it at it.
A little bit. And at the same time, Jay Sean sees it every day, so he's used to it too. Because again, I know it's like, hey, you give reps to your first team quarterback, but I think we've proven around here that we can play with more than one quarterback. So we know how to practice quarterback reps. We've had quarterbacks kind of play good, and right now we haven't played as good. Our receiver play hadn't been as consistent. Our quarterback hadn't been as good as it needs to be, and that's a challenge as we kind of keep evolving. We need to keep those guys coming. So, and touch is a part of it. There's a difference between throwing the ball and passing the ball. And Chris can throw a football, but there's a little bit, like say, as a passer, where you touch it up and you understand without lobbing it how to take a little bit off of something.
Actually, with the film study, I mean, at this point, I assume it's critical that they get in the film study. Are they both receptive to that? Have they been doing that?
Yeah, I mean, we're limited with how much we can do by hours. Now we got these, department-wide, every athlete's got an iPad, and our guys are able to boot up our system, and they can watch video 24/7 if they want to. It's used for, we have iPads where they use them now for academic services, for their note-taking. It's an academic tool, but it's also a video tool. So a kid doesn't even need to come in here. Kevin Johnson can put together videotape and say, these are your third down coverages, if you get a chance to take a look at it. And so, I mean, it's kind of, everything's kind of at their fingertips. But they need to. It's no different. We said a week ago, we got a great business school, but if you just show up for class, you got to put in some time. And the quarterback's probably got to put in more time than anyone. I can't make it mandatory because we got a 20-hour rule, but those kids got to put in time, and they know it, and they typically do.
What do you like about the way you guys played the last 3 quarters?
Well, I didn't like the big plays we gave up early, and then to settle down and be a little bit structurally clean. We got to continue to. We had some third down situations where we could have got some stops and didn't. We didn't come close to getting turnovers, which was a concern. And we quote talk about it, but that's the hugest thing in games is turnovers. And all of a sudden we have 3, but really, and it's unfortunate we had 3. One had a huge impact because it was a pick 6. But the real deal is we got to create plays, and we talk. How can you going into last week? And I don't know if this is accurate, but I was told this. I thought we were like first in passes defended and 4th in pass breakups going into last week. Is that right? Or 4th? Yeah, in pass. So how can you defend the pass and not have more interceptions? Because one, you got to be good enough to be in position. And you got to have a structure and be coached to be in position. You've read your keys, your eyes. You're in position. Now make the play and not just break it up. Now sometimes it's a pass breakup because I got to rip it out. So that's considered a pass breakup. But we're in better position, and the opportunities are there. But we got to cash in. And again, you can talk about it. My thing with this football team: are they pleased with what they're putting on tape? Because the one comment that I heard one of our players say that I disagree with strongly is when someone said that wasn't us. Well, if you go out there and play like that, that is you. And you've seen what this team is capable of. And we're trying to hold them to that is your standard. And we'll keep our consistency and we'll continue to try to coach better and put them in better positions. Call better plays, call better defensive schemes, make better adjustments. So as coaches, we ain't got anything figured out. We're going to keep coming. We got a good thing in how we're doing it. Those kids are in position, they're capable of making plays. They got to start holding themselves to that winning standard that they can make those plays. Because you'll need it this week. It's Michigan State. You'll need it in the Big Ten East. We'll need it every game. And so I like where we're at, but we got to keep pushing to make plays. And I think it's a part of I don't like the results. I don't like seniors not getting the wins they deserve. Their team needs to play better. And I expect them to, and they can. And it's just you get a little bit off, you're marginal. You get a little bit on, you're good. Couple plays, again, and they're there. They got to make them. Ain't nobody giving them away. We use the analogy of people out of work. They ain't somebody gonna come knock on your job, your door and give you a job. You got to go get it. They ain't nobody giving us a victory. They ain't handing out success for our football team. We've worked hard. We've gotten better. We're in position. You got to go get it. You got to go do it. They're capable of doing it, but they got to go do it. And that's a choice. That's a choice that winning teams make. And we're in position to do so. They got to put it on themselves because they can play it. They're capable of playing very, very well. And they'll need to this week against a really outstanding Michigan State team.
Nate's going to have the surgery.
I think this Thursday, so I think this week. I think, sometimes those knees, great question. Sometimes those knees have some swelling. It takes a while, but I think this week, I think it's during this week. And I think it'll be, we'll know from there, probably, will he be back for spring ball? Unfortunately for him, if it happens during the first 4 games, there's a redshirt year. After the 4th game, there's not. So, for him, this is his junior year. And like we share with the team, you can live with that now. I'm sorry you got hurt, but you can live with your 5 games and a quarter of play, quarter and a half of play. You can live with that because like last week, Isaiah Roundtree at Wednesday's practice tore his Achilles. And he's a senior. His career's done. You can now live with your career because you can't do it again. As you live your life, we're telling you guys, as you play the game and you live your life, you got to live with what's going on. So we got a great thing going on with the environment, the work, things in place, university commitment. You got to live with your performances. This team is very, very capable when it performs. And we're going to keep pushing those guys and building those guys up because they're good enough players and there's enough good things going on for this team to have some success. Don't like being 3-3. We're better than that. But at the same time, we are 3-3. And that's where we are. We're playing a tremendous opponent this week for homecoming. And that ain't changing either. And at 3:35, we're teeing it up and we're kicking it. And we need to have a good week and do our best to get after this team that we're playing. We're going to keep doing it this year because it's a good group. It's worked hard, but they ain't giving nothing away. And I need these guys hungry to go get them some stuff. Anything else?
Quickly about the rivalry between you and Michigan State. You guys play for the old brass platoon. It's kind of a underreported or understated trophy game for Indiana.
Well, we're 2-14 the last go. You guys can report about it. You got a chance to. You guys want to do some Heisman ballot voting for Tevin? You guys got a tool. It's called an instrument. You're public right now, so if you want to promote him, feel free to. That's a part of it. So it's the brass platoon. It's one of the trophy games of the league. They've had a good run of it right now. Our last win's 2006, right? And so they've got a nice long run of it. We didn't play them every year, but since '93, I think we're 2-14 in that series. So they've controlled it. They've got the spittoon, and we need to go get that thing. And if we don't play hard and play well, they'll keep it. And if we want to go get it, we'll go get it. It'd be a great thing to have for our seniors and for our fans. It's going to be it's a trophy game. And but again, if we want those guys to keep it, they can keep it up there. They're a great team. It ain't going to be an easy game. We look forward to a good week, though.